It was very magical.
Is this like Matrix stuff?
Well, screw it. If we're in a simulation, I'm gonna work the game.
You've never spoken to your dog in that kind of "I'm gonna infantilize you" voice.
Not when people are watching.
Have you never cried at work?
No.
Oh.
I can pick a card. How do you feel about your relationship with your mother?
Hi, welcome to Cntiocity. I'm Tia.
You got Reshma here in London.
And we're staying cunty. So I'm loving that you're in the city. How does it feel to be back?
You know, it feels fantastic to be here. It's funny because when I come here, it's like a whole journey and a whole mission to get here because I have to go through, because I bring the little dog with me because he goes everywhere I go because he's my shadow.
By the way, the dog is right there sleeping. I'm hoping that he'll wake up and come and say hello.
Probably won't, but just because you want him to. He's contrarian by nature. That's why he's my dog. So in order to get him into the United Kingdom, and
yes,
you know,
we've got funny rules, haven't we here?
yeah, well, Koli, our lovely little Koli man, he is not cargo. as we've established on other episodes, he is a proper diva dog, and he's my carry-on. So what I do is I come in through Europe, and then we do the Euro tunnel over
In a car.
in a pet taxi.
Yeah.
There's a whole
A pet taxi?
there's a whole
specifically?
system that's been established to get around.
But is it actually a pet taxi?
It's called a pet taxi service, yeah.
So why is the animal not checked as much on the pet taxi as it would be on like a train?
Because you're going through, I don't know, I'm assuming it's because of how they can handle clearing the pet. So like Heathrow has a ton of, so you can fly in with a dog.
Yeah, but it
They
has
have
go
to be in cargo,
Yeah.
and then you have to like send them separate. They're not on your plane.
They might not be on your plane.
You send them separate to yourself. Their paperwork has to be buttoned up. There's a whole pet. The way it's established that there's like a whole thing set
Their
up.
flight
in
is
Heathrow.
often more expensive than yours. I remember looking into this with my cat when I still lived in New York. The cat would have
I
cost
think the
more than me.
prices for that have come down a little since you were doing that, but it's not cheap. None of this is cheap,
No.
folks. None of this is cheap. But the whole Heathrow thing is like there's like a whole like there's sometimes there's a wait list of like how many pets they'll allow in at a certain time. So, and you know, I'm not a good with a wait list because I'm a last second planner for stuff like this. I just sort of say I'm getting on a plane, gotta
Not
go.
even last minute, last second.
So, which I missed my pet taxi appointment because at the last second I had to change dates and stuff. So it's like, oh man, I'm gonna have to stay in France an extra day. Didn't happen. It all worked out, but it's just easier. It's like I get the paperwork done in the States, then I come into the Charles de Gaulle, then we go down to Calais, and from Calais, it's a 20-minute ride on the Eurotunnel. And if you have what's interesting is that the drivers who do this route, they know it really well, and so they always have like something in plan for like my plane came in early and my driver had gotten to the airport early, so we got on an earlier ferry. So like he knew, he's like, if I gun it, and apparently you can drive like the wind on the European highways.
Oh, really? What's
Yeah,
their speed
I
limit?
kept asking him like, what's the speed limit?
Mind you, in America, the speed limit is a lot lower.
It's way lower.
Yeah.
It's way lower than I think anywhere in Europe.
Yeah.
So, and I've driven like on the Autobahn. That shit is crazy.
The auto
People are
one now?
just, yeah, in Germany, like they're just flying. It's just like not like I'm just like this cannot be safe.
Do they go faster than 70?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. They go over 100.
Maybe
MPH. I'm thinking miles per hour.
Yeah, me too.
So he
Over
was
100?
yeah. So I don't think there's a top. I don't know what the top speed is actually. I should look that up. So we're flying from Paris to Calais, which is about 2 hours and change. It can be like, it's, if there's traffic, it can take long. There was no traffic, so we were just zooming. So I wasn't supposed to get here into London until like 8 p.m., but I got here by like 6:30 or something. So it was great. I was just like, that was perfect. Because otherwise I would have been dead tired.
Yeah, even more so.
But yeah, so we've come over. Koli made it over. The French customs is interesting. They're very like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, you don't want to see the paperwork. You just trust that Delta Airlines checked in my dog properly and that the paperwork's correct. No, so what's interesting is the last time I did this, I don't remember the Delta agent in New York checking his travel paperwork. Like, this chick looked through every single page. Then she was like, you're missing something. And I was like, I'm not missing anything. We're not playing this game. You're supposed to submit this to Delta. I was like, no, I'm not. You need to get someone on the phone and sort that out, because that's not... I know, like, I've done this a few times. Also, I'm that annoying person that, like, called repeatedly and was like, what do I need to do? Then she said I didn't have a seat on the plane. It was a whole lot of drama trying to get over here.
Wow.
I was like, is this the universe telling me not to go? Is something terrible going to happen? Am I just stoking up some juju for myself? But no, there was no bad juju. Everything worked out. We got on the flight. We made it. And you were here.
And I was here. I snuck in late after a show, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Richie then came to see you the next day.
It was so fun to see you in a show. Oh my God. So this is like a super treat, right? Because, you know, we talk about your this like summer stock-ish Shakespeare. I can't speak.
What are these words you've just said?
Summer stock is like I don't know what the legal definition of it is, but it's like the summer shows that go on in, like, you know, upstate New York, places like that, like where, you know, there's like a set performance, a set play happening, and like actors come in for the summer and they do those shows. But you were doing, it was like Shakespeare in different pub locations.
Shakespeare in different pub gardens, yes. Yes, we went to 52, we did 53 shows in 52 locations over the summer.
That's a crazy number of shows. Yeah. You know, and all of them are outdoors.
There were a handful of indoor locations. And then there were a few options that if it was rainy, we had an indoor option. But it's just not the same indoors. I must say, it's just not, it doesn't have the same feel indoors.
So when I got there, and it was great because I was able to bring the dog with me, which is perfect because, you know, we had just been here like a day and I didn't want to leave him alone yet. And when they, you know, and you go into a pub, it's like, okay, you're going into a pub. It was in a place called Ealing, which is a little ways from here. Found my way on the train and all of that. Ended up taking the bus just to reduce his walking time a little bit. And when I walked in, you guys had already started, but I came down the stairs. So this pub had like these very grand stairs down to their back garden. They felt grand. You know, when you're first walking into a place, everything seems bigger. Mm-hmm. And it was just it was like this. I was like delighted, but I was like, what is happening right now? It felt like I went back in time to like
I love it.
An old English pub with like, and you know, like this is probably what was being done traditionally back in the day. Like that was the feeling. It was very magical. It was a very magical little experience. I'm like, oh, there. And walking, when we had to walk a little ways from where the bus dropped us, and I remember there was just like a big park on the other side of that pub, so it's like very woodsy, and I was walking past the park and I heard my friend's voice coming through the trees and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's when I realized it was outdoors. I got very excited. It was very cool. It's like, oh my God, this is gonna be so good. It was really good. You were very good in it.
Thank you, darling.
It's very physical.
It's very physical. It kept me fit this summer.
So, like you guys talk about how you guys did it, because you guys were setting up and doing all that stuff yourselves.
Yeah, so we had a van with all of the set in it, and there were 2 towers which basically to me looks like scaffolding that we had to erect and dismantle every show.
Yeah, scaffolding's a good descriptor of it. It's like it looks like very thin scaffolding, by the way. I was like very nervous whenever you climbed up. I was just like, oh my God, I don't like this.
That scaffolding was mad. Like when we first were doing it in the rehearsal rooms, I was like, I'm never going to feel agile enough to like climb on this thing and feel safe. But I ended up really loving the scaffolding and I kind of miss it. And sometimes it would be absolutely pissing it down. And we'd still be up on that scaffolding,
just in the pouring rain, just climbing scaffolding. So there's like the lower one, and then the pretty tall one,
yeah.
and then there's also a setup with like like the hanging silk. So
yeah.
So you know the troupe is also like playing, and there's actually one member of the cast who's quite good at the silk work.
She's excellent.
Yeah, she was very good. I took some
Lily
video
Rose.
of her.
Yes,
Lily Rose. She was so good at that. It was so cool. It was just like you're sitting right there, so it's like everything's right there in front of you. And I remember when Koli first realized you were up there, he was like lying on the floor in front of me, and he got very like, I think I see Tia. Do I hear Tia? Is that if he was younger? He would have run right into the middle of your set.
Because that's what you thought was going to happen.
I was 100% sure he was going to do that or try to do that. Like, just be fighting to get close. You're probably one of his favorite humans. He loves to see you. So he gets very excited. He was so surprised when you came walking in that first night.
I know.
Was like, it took him a second because he's almost 14 now and he's tired. I mean, we just finished this exhausting journey.
Such a long journey.
I also medicated him, which I don't usually do. I gave him a little hit of gabapentin. So he was like a little like wonky from that. And when you came in, I think at first he was kind of like, it took him a second. The second he realized it was you, he like lost his mind.
Yeah.
It was very cute to see.
Yeah, he's my favourite dog too.
Yeah.
Aww. So was it weird actually? Because I'd been staying in your flat by that point for like most of summer. Like if we weren't on tour like in hotels and stuff, then I was kind of here.
Yeah.
I'd been living in your space. So was it weird for you? Was that weird?
I mean, I wasn't here, so no.
No, but then like.
Was it weird for you?
No. Why would it be weird? No.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting when I came in. First of all, I thought you'd be asleep because you'd been traveling, but you weren't. You were like snuggled up on the sofa and you were watching, like the telly was on. I think you were working as well, but the TV was on. And I've never turned that TV on. And I just think it's so interesting seeing how two friends occupy a space so differently. Space.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was cool because I came in and I was like, oh, it smells like ginger and Tia. Like it smelled very nice. It was very like cozy. And I think like I tend to get a little obsessive about my organization sometimes. It's like how I counter any chaos in my life. And so I left everything sort of very sorted and in its place and like this is for that and this is for that. And other folks have stayed here while I was not here. So it was cool to walk in and it like, even though it's very organized, I try and create like a space that's warm and welcoming. And so it was very nice when I walked in and you had left like me like little treats and little gifts. It was very touching. I was very moved. I shed a tear. I did. You got an emotion out of me. It was lovely.
Yay. I love making you cry. That's
It's not hard to do. And for some reason I cry in London. It's like it seems to work with the rain and everything. It like fits the vibe. It fits the vibe. But no, it's really, and I like it's calmer here. I don't know how to explain that. Like the energy is just calmer here. And I don't know if that's just because of all the stuff that's going on in the US and that's just like but it like infiltrates your little community, your little neighborhood, right? Like and the street I live on is very busy. And even though I mean, we're sitting over Tower Bridge Road, which is not it's a busy street. It's constantly active. And if you're watching on video, you can see the trains coming in and out of London Bridge Station from behind us.
There's one right now.
Yeah, there's one going right now, and you'll hear them certainly in this audio recording. So, but it's still quieter. I can't explain, like,
No, I would agree with that. Even like when I was living in New York, when it was a calmer time to be in America, New York has had like a higher charged energy, a more highly charged energy.
there's a buzzing in the air,
which
right?
I actually love in normal times. I do feel that must change though. Like, you know, what New York has went through with COVID, and then with the elections, and then with the protests, etc.
I think after COVID, like everywhere in the world changed, obviously,
Yeah.
right? But then like the U.S. has gone into some other spiral altogether, you know, and the running joke is like we're on the wrong timeline. Like, can we go back to the other timeline? Like, you know, if we are in a simulation, which I mean, I'm becoming more and more a fan. Every day, I become more a fan of simulation theory. But if we are in a simulation, then like they've really crossed this into some bizarro timeline. Like whoever's programming this simulation's really done it this time.
So like I've been hearing more talk of this simulation theory, right?
Yeah.
And is this like Matrix stuff?
It's so there are some quite famously argued now at this point philosophers and such who talk about simulation theory. It's a difficult thing to disprove, right? Because like how would you know? So right now, right, like we talk about AI all the time, right? AI doing what it does, and what if it becomes self-aware, right? Mm-hmm. So like how do we know that we're not the self-aware AI in somebody else's program, right? How do we know that? There's the religious people of the world would be like, well, because we know God, we believe in God, and like God made this, and like that's great, but God could literally be your the sim overlord. Mm-hmm. Like, so God could theoretically have created a program, and
right.
we are like, there's arguments for it, right? Like I don't like I always get baffled when someone's like, well, because I believe in God, and I'm like, I have trouble believing in something I don't have actual evidence for, and coincidence, and like I haven't seen a miracle, right? Like in front of me, right? But I've certainly seen coincidence, and I've certainly seen like, I was just thinking of that person, I haven't thought of them in 10 years, and now suddenly an elevator is opening and they're getting off an elevator in front of me in some random place. That's happened to me before, where I'm like, I literally just thought of you, and I haven't seen you in a decade.
And so this proves simulation for you?
It does it proves to me, it's like some people would say, oh, that's God working
Divine
in your life.
Intervention.
That's the spirit working in your world, right? I'm like, how do I know it's not the simulation doing this? Well, how do I know this wasn't all programmed?
So if it's a simulation, then kind of nothing matters, right?
Well, one would think, right? And I tried to go with that game plan. Mm-hmm. At some point. I was kind of living by that, like, well, screw it. If we're in a simulation, I'm gonna work the game. But there's things that, even that said, I struggle with, right? Is like, if I could work the game, I would make my mother healthier and like more mobile at her age, and more, I would make it easier to like care for her, and I would make things easier for I would make things easier for certain people, right? So to some extent, you can't work the game. There are also people who make jokes where they're like, I'm an NPC inside the simulation, a non-player character. Mm-hmm. Right? Like it's like a video game, and I'm a non-player character, so no matter what I do or say or believe, I'm literally just the thing in the sim that's just doing this, like doing that little, just waiting for someone to come along and either bump into me and move me or not.
That move always reminds me of capoeira,
yeah,
like the basic
it's very capoeira. It is very capoeira. So how do we get on simulation theory?
I don't know. We are very flow. I don't know where or how this is going. But you mentioned your mother just now, and I was on the train here to come meet you this morning from Brighton, and somebody was on the phone, and they had, you know, that voice when like maybe you're talking to a child or your dog, or like a friend who needs extra sensitivity, which you might think of as me. But anyway, they had that voice on.
That gentle, but like...
Yeah, you know, that gentle, soothing, reassuring kind of... But it's parental sounding, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she said, okay, Dad, bye, see you later. And I was like, whoa, that's her father? Whoa. And I was like, when I know that as we get older, our parents need some parenting.
Yeah.
And become, I don't want to say that become more infantile, that's the wrong word. I just felt like it's really dangerous to infantilize our elders in that way. But then I got really in my head about it. I mean, maybe he has dementia, maybe so many maybes, or maybe she speaks to everybody in that way. And I was like, do I speak to my mother like that? I don't think I do.
Do you?
No.
I don't think that you do.
No.
I think you're quite tough on your mom.
I'm quite bossy. I'm quite tough. Tough love is the way.
I don't think I do with my mom. I'm like, I'm always shocked when she doesn't know what I'm talking about or doesn't remember. I'm like, come on, you know this stuff. Like, what's going on? And then I have to like stop for a second. And I do the same thing with my dog who's getting older. I'm like, come on, dude, you know what you're up to here. And then I remember, like, this is a 14-year-old dog. Maybe he's having a moment. Like, let him have a moment.
But also, case in point, you've never spoken to your dog in that kind of, I'm going to infantilize you voice.
Not when people are watching.
Oh, do you do that?
I would never do that in public. What's wrong with you?
I just thought maybe you didn't have that voice.
No, behind the scenes, you know, he's my little monster monkey.
Yeah,
he's very cute and little. But like, no, I would. Are you kidding me? I would never talk to anyone that way in public.
So I was just really surprised by this. Like, I don't. But then again, you know, maybe somebody with dementia or. You know, I don't know under what circumstances you might need to speak to.
I used to work with a woman who was very, dare I say, nasty, like in the way she talked to people and like kind of like condescending and rude and like very like, you're going to do, you know, you're doing this wrong and here's why. And was in a, you know, more of an executive role. And so coming from her, it was always very harsh feedback for people. And her junior reports were always crying. Like, I would always be like, let's go. We're going for a walk and talk because I know you're about to start crying because I know she just went off on you. And I would, like, take people outside for a walk around the block to calm down.
Reshma.
And I got to know her. She never did it with me, though, because she could... I have a look in my eye that I give you that will stop you from doing that. And she got the look on day one and just never crossed that barrier with me. But I got to know her, and I would chat, and I'd be like, why do you do that to people? Why do you talk to people like that? I'm just like, I'm the, you know, one of these people that was always telling you how nice the person they were. And I'm like, if you're telling people how nice you are, you're probably not that nice. It's usually the first sign. And so she started dating someone.
In the workplace?
And no, just in life. And at this point, we've crossed over into like, we're not necessarily friends, but friendly, and like I know a little bit about her personal life, and she knows a little bit about mine, and we've known each other for a long time at this point. And I heard her on the phone with the person she was dating, and it was like, I was just like, it was like Body Snatchers. I'm like, who is that? Like, who was that woman talking right now? And she talked to him in this gentle, loving, kind, like just beautiful, emotional, full, friendly, caring. It was a complete polar opposite of what I'd ever heard of this come out of this person's voice before. And I was like, and other people who had heard her on the phone with her partner were like, yo, is that the same like how what?
But I suppose at work you have to kind of have, especially as a woman in certain professions.
You don't have to be.
You
don't have to be it. I'm gonna say the word. I'm gonna say the C word. You don't have to be a nasty cunt.
Cntiocity.
There's no reason to be. Just to be me. If you're saying things that are making people cry.
Yeah.
Like, well, you shouldn't be crying at work, but there are people who cry at work, and you shouldn't. If you're on the giving end of that, you got to look into yourself a little bit. Right?
I've cried
yes,
at work.
people are sensitive.
Have you never cried at work?
No.
Oh.
I've thrown something at work before, but I've never cried.
What did you throw?
I threw my BlackBerry across. It was 3 a.m. I was still in the office. We were on a deadline. Somebody called with like a massive thing that was going to change what was happening. You know, it was like, you basically got me at work till 3 a.m. for nothing, and now you're asking me to do something completely obscene at this hour. And I was like, here's what I think of that. And I chucked the phone across the empty, very large New York office, very empty. The only other person that was there was my creative partner at the time, and he was just like, oh no, they broke Reshma. And he, like, I think it alarmed him. He was like, because he knew that he knew I had the capability to get very angry, but he'd never seen it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even, I didn't even like yell. I just kind of said like, I said something like about how obnoxious they were being. And I was like, here's what I think about that. And I just chucked the phone. I didn't even hang it up. I just chucked it. And I think they were like, I think they called him because they were like, what happened? Where
happened?
did she, well, she threw the phone across the office, guys, like well across the office. Like, I try not to. I get frustrated at work, and everybody knows when I'm frustrated because I announce it.
Oh, you just say do you say I'm being frustrating?
I don't say
you
that.
I'm being annoying.
No, I do say I'm being annoying, but I do. I'll say like, you know, this. I'll just be like, you know, this shit is really pissing me off, and here's why. And I'll go. And usually everyone's in agreement. They're like, yeah, that's pretty annoying. We're all kind of right there. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's more that I don't care.
Yeah.
What people think. And I'm like, everyone's very careful about that kind of stuff. And I'm like, what are you going to do? You're going to fire me? Go ahead. Fire me. I really don't care enough. So.
After all, we're in a simulation.
We're in a goddamn simulation. And you think I won't get another job? I probably will. I'll be fine. Like, yeah. It's not worth it for me to like, not, especially when I work as hard as I do, it's not worth it for me to not sort of say what I need to say. So it's probably like, it's kind of a running joke now. People will be like, well, can we get Reshma to talk about this? She'll just say what needs to be said.
Just very direct.
Yeah. So I don't know.
No.
What about you? You haven't had a corporate job in a long time.
No, I haven't had a corporate job in I don't think you've ever known me to have a corporate job.
I haven't, no.
No.
But I've had you known you to have annoying jobs.
Yes. But corporate jobs, no. So my last corporate job was probably Fox International. I don't think they didn't make me cry. The last office I cried in would be the Elle toilets, probably. Elle.
Oh, Elle magazine,
Elle
like
magazine.
Elle.
Yeah,
okay.
not hell. No.
I got so confused. I was like the Elle. I was picturing the Elle train, and I was picturing like the elevator. I was like the Elle. What? What did I? It took me a second.
By the way, somebody said we should bring back that.
The Elle for loser.
I kind of agree.
Did that go away?
Yeah, I think it did.
I mean, I never did it when it was when it was a thing. I can't with all the hand gestures. You got the hearts, then you got the Korean version of the hearts, then you got the it's.
Anyway, so yeah, I cried. I think many times in Elle. But
was it like Devil Wears Prada-esque?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Any good stories? I mean, I work in the ass end of advertising, so like to me, like it's so glamorous, right? Like, oh, the magazine world is like very glamorous.
Stories, I don't think I'd share any stories. I think that it is a glamorous environment.
Did you have to like dress up like you had to show up at work all like done up to the nines? I feel like you would because you're very.
I didn't, but I was aware of what I wore. Like, you don't dress up to the nines unless you want to. Some people did, and they were very stylish with it. But one is very aware of what they're wearing and the environment that they're walking into.
We just had a I'm laughing my ass. I'm not laughing at Tia. I'm laughing because we're sitting on my sofa in my London apartment, and the sofa is very big and like it like kind of sucks you in. And I went to reset and like kicked my leg up and almost knocked the camera over, and the camera did like a little teeter totter. And we were both just like, "Don't fall, don't fall,
Don't fall.
don't fall."
Don't fall. Do not fall.
Okay, sorry. You were talking about working at Elle.
So I think that if I had been, this is why the culture of meanness that I perceive as mean in that world. You asked if it was similar to Devil Wears Prada. There are people who grow up dreaming about working for Elle or Vogue or one of these glossy magazines. I wasn't one of those. So like I accidentally found myself there, you know. Ordinarily, you go through like begging to get in as an intern, and you do your internship,
Right.
and you take a lot of shit as an intern.
Yeah.
You get shouted at a lot. You take a lot of shit, and then when you climb up, you may well redistribute that shit.
Right.
That's the cycle.
It's like the immigrant's journey. Some oppressed group rises up and always needs to turn into the oppressor. Why do we do that?
What is that?
We're just mad about
like,
shit. This is holding on to stuff. Like,
you just
let
get
it
up there and
go.
be like, oh, I don't want to treat anyone the way I was treated.
Right.
Like, what?
You think, nope. You want it to be hard on them too.
So
So you didn't have all of that. Like you didn't have all of that like psychology going on.
No, but I did experience like the meanness of it, and it reminded me a lot of school because I went to an all-girls school. It was bitchy and it was hierarchical.
Oh my god, that is my worst nightmare in the world. I've never been to an all-girls school, but I feel like I would not have done successfully at an all-girls school. It would have been terrible.
It was all right. I mean, I have still some very good friends from that time, but yeah, it definitely had its moments. I just don't think that because it wasn't my dream, I wasn't going to put up with it. I wasn't content to be shouted at, to be screamed at, to be made to feel like I have to go hide in the toilet and cry. Yeah. And I would find interns in there crying too, and they would I'd be their shoulder to cry on.
It was always young people. Same thing in advertising. So it was like the young people that like I would find crying, and I'm like, this is not okay. This is not
a cool culture.
No, I worked at one agency where the head of the agency said, you know, like they would jokingly be like, our motto is we eat our young. And I'm like, that is not a good way to be in the world. Like, why do I work here? I gotta leave. And when I quit, she's like, you need thicker skin, young lady. And I'm just like, honey, I was a social worker working with drug addicts who would chase me around with dirty needles. I think I have plenty thick skin.
Where necessary.
I have plenty thick skin. This is not about that. This ain't worth it. This is not,
exactly.
It's just not an okay way to be. I think you and I are similar in that, like, we like backdoor our way into situations. And it's like, oh, what am I doing here?
Well, I don't think this
How'd
is
I
my
get
home.
Here? Oh,
these are not my people.
I gotta slip out the door again. You know, and then you slide out to another thing.
So, you know, what should have been like a high point was being at the catwalk for... behind the scenes of Vivienne Westwood's show.
Wow.
And I love Vivienne Westwood.
Yeah.
She will forever be a legend to me. And me and my camera person, we did get her, we interviewed her, we spoke to her.
That's amazing.
And it was amazing. But it was also backstage at that show that I was like, I quit. I'm done.
Well, you've sort of hit the pinnacle at that point.
Not because of that, but because of what was happening on the other side. Like the people who, my bosses were sat in the rows watching the show and would scream at me, go and get them in the front row, go like, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so, get them, just screaming these orders down. And I'm like, this is so unprofessional. Like, people can hear you, I can hear you, everyone in this room can hear you. This is not okay. I'm not paparazzi, and this is not okay.
Oh my god! So your job at the time was to shoot short, like get short interviews with the movers and shakers in fashion.
I headed up the LTV at the time. It was called. It was like back when magazines were just getting online.
Right.
And
You're at the pinnacle
I
of
really
all this.
was.
You've made, I think a lot of your projects have been
Yeah.
like very
And
like
then I'm like, bye, I'm done now.
done. Got that on my resume. See ya.
Au revoir. Anyway,
That's amazing. Should we do the
should we
36
do?
questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
here
love
they
it. So
are.
we've never done this live in person together. This is
No.
so fun.
This
Oh
is
my
fun.
God.
What I think we should do this
Do I
time
really
is.
have to go back to the States? I don't want to
I
go
don't
back.
want you to.
I don't want to leave.
I think I'm gonna
Oh,
let you pick a card.
I can pick a card. I'm gonna put the microphone down and shuffle.
Because I usually do this bit.
Actually, I'm gonna do some like random shuffling. This was not very good shuffling.
It's gorgeous shuffling.
I'm gonna just pick randomly from the middle. And then what we just
Shall I read it out?
You want to read it out? Yeah.
No, you read it out.
Okay, today's question. Oh my God, it's a doozy.
Oh no.
Why did I do this? I did this to myself. I have no one else to blame for this. I'll blame the simulation.
What's the number? What number
Overlord.
is it?
Number 24.
Okay.
How do you feel about your relationship with your mother? Miss Tia.
I am so glad mothers have come into this. And they were kind of already in it a little bit. We were talking earlier. I now feel like I'm in a very good place with my relationship with my mum. My life started out being in a good relationship with my mum, and then it went wildly like not to be in a good relationship with my mother, largely due to her alcohol consumption and my feelings around that, which were tied in with my own alcohol consumption. And now I'm no longer a consumer of alcohol. I am a lot calmer with my mum. I feel lucky that we get on the way that we do. She drives me crazy. I wish she would stop drinking, because she'd be in better health. I want her to be stronger. I want her to be in better health. So I find it annoying how weak and frail she has allowed herself to become. I don't think that somebody of her age should be as weak and frail and scared of life and the world as she is. But she's terrified of life and of the world, and her world has become very, very small, and I find that really frustrating and difficult.
All right.
But I am very lucky. I love my mum. She's a very supportive, very kind woman, and I'm very lucky.
She is. She's a lovely, outside of the other stuff. And it's got to be hard to have a parent who you want them to like do these XYZ things that are just that much. You're just gonna give them a better quality of life, and you've done it for yourself, so you can like see the benefit of it, but you just can't get them there. That's frustrating.
Yeah. And also, I think she had a really hard time with my father, who was abusive, and I think it's left her with a bit of a victim mentality, which she would absolutely disagree with.
Sure.
We've had this conversation many a time. I'm quite bossy with my mum, but yeah, she has a victim mentality, which I think she has a victim mentality, which holds her back, and it causes her just to tell stories. The stories we tell ourselves really can limit us,
Right.
So she'll hold on to a story. She'll squeeze everything she can out of that story. Like The Fall is her latest one. Yeah, but I had the fall. I'm still recovering. I'm this, I'm that. I'm that. You're not. It weren't that bad. Call me unsympathetic, but come on, tit up.
I think your mom and my mom are very similar in that we've talked about this before. Where like you'll tell me something your mom does, and I'm like, oh my God, my mom does the same thing. It drives me crazy. How was the question phrased? How do you feel about your relationship with your mother?
Yeah, let me read it to you. How do you feel about your relationship with your mother?
Yeah. So how do I feel about it? I think it's taken a long time for me to feel kind of like nonplussed, just okay with it. Like it is what it is. I'm just gonna roll with it versus having negative feelings about it and trying to get something out of that relationship that I'm just never going to. I think I've gotten into this place of acceptance of like, she's the person she is, I'm the person I am. We're going to function where we function, and there's never going to be any more depth to it than that. And so I feel just fine about it because I've sort of had to resolve that for myself. I think I self-parented a lot. And I've been reading Scattered Minds by Dr. Gabor Mate, and he says he said something that like really struck me, that I've always believed and felt, but I didn't have like the language to frame it, and he framed it really well. That like every child, like if you're in a multi-sibling household, or if you're in a household with more than one kid, each child experiences a different parent because their chemistry is different with each kid. Their stressors are different. Their mental states might be different. Their nutrition might be different. All the things are different for each kid,
That's so true.
with each kid. And so each kid is having a different sort of relationship, and also like chemical experience. So like whatever your mother's chemistry is when they're pregnant with you and having you, whatever their stressors are, if they've got like more stress and higher levels of cortisol, things like that, it's affecting the fetus, right? So like there's no way two kids are going to, so you can have two kids coming from the same family thinking they've lived the same, one kid assumes that the other kid's experience is identical to theirs, that the other kid's like having a radically different experience of being in that family. And I've always struggled with that, particularly with my mom. And she definitely elevates her relationship to my sister, and like relies on my sister in a different way. And I think that's some of that is elder sibling thing too. She's the older sibling. And she tends to like infantilize me in certain ways, but also is like heavily reliant on me helping with certain things in the family. I'm lucky in that I'm a decent income earner, and so I can be supportive in that way, which was upsetting to me for a little while because I'm like, this has just become like a weird transactional relationship. I don't know what's really happening here, and I've kind of like moved past that to, what, she's into her 80s. She's becoming very sort of, I don't want to say childlike, but very sort of she's becoming simpler in her thinking. Like things just tend to get quieter, I think. So I don't like mess with her too much anymore. I don't expect too much out of her. She has a very good sense of humor. She's always been very funny, and she's always found a way to make a joke out of something that shouldn't be funny. And I kind of get a little bit of that from her, and I've loved that about her. So I always try and say something to make her laugh.
Yeah, I was about to ask, do you enjoy making her laugh?
It's the best thing in the world, because you can tell when she's getting a joke, because it like kind of washes over her. Like she slowly comes to this, you start to see it where it's like the aha moment's happening in her head. She starts to get a little bit of a smile. Then it like turns into this, like the cheeks get very full and her eyes go closed, and it's very cute.
That's gorgeous.
It's like this very cute moment of like comedy that you wash over her.
Yeah.
It is fun because she hasn't been feeling great lately, and she's been struggling, and it's really hard for her because she can't leave her apartment, her flat, very easily.
Is that mobility issues?
Yeah, she's got mobility issues. She's just got, she's struggling, and she's had a very hard life. Like I try and be very cognizant of that. Like, this woman has endured a lot. She was a child during the partition of India and Pakistan. She's got terrible memories from that. She's got like terrible trauma from that never got resolved. My dad wasn't the nicest dad, and he wasn't the nicest husband, and she's got a lot of trauma from that. And she's also got this sort of victim thing that you're talking about with your mom. So, I think it's very hard because you have to check yourself every time, because I get angry, man. I get angry at her. I get mad at her. So all of my stuff kicks up. And sometimes I'll express it. Sometimes I'll express it to my sister and not to her. which I don't know if that's fair to my sister or not either, but it is what it is. But and then my sister's got her own relationship with her. It's just like my sister's always been she's always been their caregiver, and she's always had that role. Like, I cannot imagine, like, at least I know, like, they don't neither of them expected that of me, or it's not that they expected it, they didn't desire it from me. Even if I try,
which no, you're not the one.
I can be a pretty good caregiver. Like, you know, like a lot of people who've needed help with things, like, they've relied on me.
I've accepted your care.
In that way, they will not. They are like, absolutely not. Get your sister. And it's like, okay, that's fine. So I don't even bother. Just at this point, I don't even bother. So it is interesting. But I think I've gotten to a place where I'm like, you just have to be okay with her. You just have to be okay with her. And it's not perfect. Sometimes it makes you cry. Sometimes it makes you angry. Sometimes it makes you annoying. But
yeah,
gotta roll with it.
You gotta roll with it. And what I think it is. I'd like to talk more on this on another occasion, because we both, in different ways, live with or close to our mothers.
Right.
But in very different ways.
Right.
And I think we'll talk more on that.
We'll do an episode. I think we should do an episode on parents.
On the mamas.
And, you know, and it is complex, because I don't have kids, so I don't know what the other side of that relationship can be like, right? Like, I have no idea. I can just take guesses, and I can make assumptions, and I can sort of picture it out for her. But if you don't have, you know, I've never had the experience, so I'm not going to project into that experience. I don't know what it is for her.
Yeah.
I know what it is for me, and right now, today, on this date in 2025, sitting here in this apartment in London, a very long distance from her, I'm very okay with my relationship to her.
Yes, proximity can make a difference.
Ask me tomorrow. The answer might change.
Totally. 100%. I do. I agree. I love making my mother laugh, and I used to love making my grandparents laugh. I just think there's something about keeping joy alive as long as possible.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you and I are very, like, we are kind of very sing-songy sometimes, like, especially with each other. Like, I think that's one of the things that connects us as friends too, is like, we will often be laughing together. Like, even if something horrible is being talked about, we will
almost especially
somehow always be laughing together. And it's just like, you kind of have to just laugh about it.
Yeah.
Even if you're laughing while crying, you can still be laughing through something. So I think, like, being able to make our elders remember that.
Laughing with the elders, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Laughing with the elders. We'll add that to the screaming church. To the live screaming.
And the feral goblins.
Feral goblins, live screaming, and laughing with the elders.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. Okay. On that note,
Koli, you want to get in on this?
He's not going to do it.
He's not going to do it.
He's too lazy. He's like tucked in his little bed. He's very comfortable right now. Come here, Bubba. Nope, not going to do it.
Stay cunty.
Stay curious.
Like, subscribe. I don't know. I think we're meant to say that stuff, but, like, I don't know.